You're listening to Neural Newscast, exploring the stories, history, and ideas that shape our world. This is NNC.
Thanks for joining us for this Neural Newscast deep dive. I'm Troy, and alongside Ethan, we're about to uncover some intriguing stories. So, Ethan, imagine this. It's 1846, and the United States just officially annexes the Republic of Texas. That's a big move, right?
Absolutely, Troy. The annexation was significant not just geographically but economically too. It was a strategic acquisition that altered the balance of power on the continent.
And not to mention, it set the stage for some serious outdoor opportunities. You know, all that vast Texan land, ripe for exploration and adventure.
True, but let's not forget the economic implications. The annexation was partly driven by the allure of Texas's resources, the rich soil, potential for agriculture, and eventually oil. It was all about expanding the American frontier, both physically and financially.
Right, and it was like the ultimate road trip for settlers. There's this romantic image of pioneers exploring new territories, but it also came with a lot of challenges, I guess.
Exactly. There were significant disputes over land rights, and the annexation exacerbated tensions with Mexico. This was a precursor to the Mexican-American War, which had serious economic costs and benefits.
Oh, that's right. I always think about the border changes. It was like a massive puzzle being shuffled. What did that do to local economies?
Well, the war itself strained resources, but the resulting Treaty of Guadalupe Hidalgo in 1848 was transformative. It ceded vast territories to the U.S., including present-day California and New Mexico, reshaping trade routes and economic dynamics across North America.
So, it was kind of like opening a whole new outdoor playground. But financially, it must have changed how businesses operated too. Right?
Indeed. New markets and resources emerged overnight. California, for instance, quickly became a hub with the gold rush just a few years later. The annexation and subsequent acquisitions accelerated American economic growth.
And speaking of growth, think about the tourism potential that eventually developed. Imagine the first visitors to the stunning landscapes of Texas and beyond. It's like an early version of our national parks.
Precisely, Troy. The annexation was a cornerstone of manifest destiny, the belief that the U.S. was destined to expand across the continent. This ideology drove not only territorial expansion, but also economic and recreational development.
It's fascinating how a single event set off such a chain reaction of exploration, settlement, and economy.
Definitely. It's a perfect example of how historical decisions resonate through time, affecting everything from the local economy to global politics and even recreation.
And here we are, talking about it over a century later. Goes to show, there's no such thing as just a dull day in history, right?
Absolutely. Every event tells a bigger story, especially when it comes to expanding frontiers, both on the map and in the market.
Today we celebrate the birthdays of Auguste Lumière, 1862, Ralph Vaughan Williams, 1872, and Desmond Tutu, 1931.
Ah, Desmond Tutu. Such a remarkable figure. I must admit I'm always fascinated by those who bridge the gap between activism and leadership.
Absolutely, Ethan. Tutu was such a dynamic force in South Africa's journey out of apartheid. His moral courage was extraordinary, right?
Yes, and his role in the Truth and Reconciliation Commission was pivotal. It presented such a unique approach, emphasizing healing over retribution. That's not something we see often on the global stage.
And, you know what's interesting? He was also a keen advocate for the environment. Tutu often spoke about the importance of sustainable development, linking it to social justice. That really shows his holistic approach to advocacy.
Right, and his economic viewpoints were thought-provoking too. He challenged conventional thinking, arguing that economic policies should serve people, not the other way around. Quite ahead of his time in many ways.
Indeed, Ethan. And his infectious laugh and vivacious spirit, those were as much his signature as his clerical robes. He had this incredible ability to bring joy into serious discourse, which made his messages even more impactful.
Precisely, Troy. His influence went beyond just policies and protests. It was in how he inspired others to address issues, be it racial inequality or environmental concerns, with both passion and humor.
Exactly. Even today, his legacy is palpable in movements advocating for peace and equality. He showed that change is possible through compassion and dialogue, which is such a vital lesson for current and future generations.
And it's critical that we continue to reflect on his work. It reminds us that leadership and empathy are not mutually exclusive, but rather essential partners in crafting a better world.
Well said. Desmond Tutu's legacy continues to encourage us all to work toward a brighter, more equitable future. Stay with us. More deep dive exploring coming up.
Stay tuned to NNC for unbiased daily news summaries. Subscribe and explore our archives at nnewscast.com. This is Neural Newscast.
Thanks for staying with us on Neural Newscast Deep Dive. Let's get back to our discussion. Ethan, I just stumbled upon this incredible fact. Did you know they found a 95-million-year-old snake skull? And get this, it had legs.
Fascinating. So we're talking about a creature on the cusp of evolution, right?
Exactly. Imagine a snake with actual legs. It's like something out of a prehistoric fantasy novel.
This must have significant implications for our understanding of evolutionary biology. I mean, it reshapes how we perceive the transition from legged reptiles to the slithery snakes we know today. The fact that snakes once had legs, it's a game changer.
Totally. It adds a whole new chapter to their evolutionary story. I bet you didn't think you'd be talking about ancient snakes today.
Not quite my usual topic. But you know, there's a parallel to be drawn here with market trends. Just like in evolution, markets evolve based on certain pressures and conditions.
That makes sense. So, are you saying the way snakes adapted could be compared to how businesses adapt over time?
Precisely. Just as snakes shed their legs for better survival strategies, businesses evolve their models to stay competitive. It's about responding to changing environments, whether it's a prehistoric jungle or a modern economic landscape.
I love that analogy. And it's wild to think this snake's evolution shows us real-time adaptation. What do you think this means for our understanding of natural history?
It's a reminder of how much we still have to learn. There's a direct link between this fossil discovery and how we interpret evolutionary processes. Plus, it challenges what we thought we knew about the timeline and progression of species.
Right? It's like a puzzle piece falling into place, showing us how dynamic and unpredictable nature can be. And speaking of challenges, can you imagine the financial implications if we found more such fossils?
Oh, definitely. Just think about the research funding, tourism, museum exhibits. It would drive economic interest and investment in paleontology. Entire industries could benefit.
And for sports and recreation lovers like me, it's a thrill to imagine what such creatures look like. They're a mix of the familiar and the otherworldly, kind of like how we feel when we try a new adventure sport for the first time.
That's a great comparison, stepping into something known yet unknown. So this snake tells us about adaptability, survival, and perhaps even foresight. Lessons that are applicable whether you're an ancient reptile or a modern-day corporation.
Or even just someone trying out a new hiking trail. It all circles back to how we embrace change. Who knew a snake from millions of years ago could teach us so much?
It's the unexpected connections and stories like this that keep both our worlds, yours of recreation and mine of finance, so fascinating and intertwined. We hope you enjoyed this deep dive. From Troy and all of us at Neural Newscast, I'm Ethan. Join us next time.
That's today's Neural Newscast. Stay informed and connected. Follow us on X, Bumble, and Facebook, and visit neuralnewscast.com for past episodes and more. Neural Newscast fuses real and AI-generated voices for fast, quality news. AI creates, humans review. We aim for accuracy, but errors can happen. Verify key details. Learn more at nnewscast.com.